Hey guys, CoolDudeUSA here, and the gameplay you're going to be watching in the background is 106-4 Triple Nuclear Fail by Toxic Gunner, and 106-4 Non-Lethal, I believe using the A94. And the commentary topic for today is PS4 pretty much versus Xbox One, and it isn't really versus Xbox One or Xbox One versus PS4, it's just the mixture of both, in my opinion, and it's more so commentary about the sales and the community of each and all that, rather than, each console in itself, one console being better. And honestly, the Xbox One, the main reason it failed as a console in comparison to the PS4 is because of their advertising. Was originally fantastic, and then they released some, they said some stuff that I assume they ended up regretting, and the console ended up being a failure, like a gigantic failure when it came to sales. See, there are going to be a lot of Xbox fanboys in the comments section being like, oh, you're stupid, pretty much. But what ended up happening was the PS4 ended up getting 9 million sales, and the Xbox One ended up getting 5 million sales. And really, when you look at more research on sales, the only reason the Xbox One even got 5 million sales is because of the beginning of its phase. If it were to be the same as it is now, it would have been the PS4 would have gotten 9 million and the Xbox would have gotten 3 million, because the PS4 is selling 3-1 over Xbox for the past 2 months it's been. So when you think about that, the reason that's happening like that is because people are starting to realize that the PS4 is a better system, and they're buying PS4s instead of the Xbox One, because they want the community, they want the system, they want the more populated system console. So, Xbox One is definitely going to end up being a failure as a console by the end compared to the PS3 by far, much more so than the PS3 was to the Xbox One. The Xbox One obviously, or the Xbox 360 did win over the PS3 when they were first sold, but not by almost 2 times. And by the time they're ready for new-gen consoles, the PS3 may have sold 2.7 times more than the Xbox One, which is a terrifyingly high amount when you really think about the Xbox One community. I really do think a lot of pub stompers, a lot of, people in general that care about the Call of Duty community or care about community of any multiplayer game in general is going to switch over to the PS4 within the next couple of years, just because it's going to be so much more populated than the Xbox One. I know the Xbox One ended up having some games that were solely released to it, and I know that is also part of the reason that it ended up actually getting 5 million sales. But those games are going to be able to hold it off, make it to where that's the system people are buying. It's only that's not going to influence that many people. What people really want is this superior console, and in reality, when you really think about what's going to end up happening is there are going to be so many more sales on the PS3, or PS4, sorry, that consoles aren't going to solely release on the Xbox because they're going to want money. It wouldn't make sense. We'll be limiting them about, like divide their sales in 3. So they're going to either make it multi-console or only PS4. That's what's going to end up happening, because there's a drastic difference between how many PS4s are out there and how many Xbox Ones are out there. A drastic difference. And back then there wasn't a big difference between PS3 and PS4. I mean, PS3 and Xbox 360, sorry. There was not a gigantic difference. They're about the same in sales. Not the exact same, but, Xbox did win, but not by very much. Whereas in PS4 is winning by almost 2 times, and it'll be over 2 times within the next couple of months, definitely within the next couple of years. So you can assume that the solely Xbox titles will not end up being that way, and that there either will be multi-console or solely PS4, one of the two. If they really want to have a contract with one or the other, that's how it ended up being. Because PS4 just won. It just won this time, and Xbox One fanboys. I'm not a PS4 fanboy. I like the PS4 more. I have had a lot of experience with the Xbox One. I do like the PS4 more, but I will say that when it comes to playing them, there's not much of a difference. The only reason I like the PS4 more is because there's just more players. There are more people to play against. And it's easier to find a lobby if you're on Ghost or whatever. So, in all honesty, you know, I don't have too much of a bias. Yes, I am a PS3 player, but you know, if I liked the Xbox 360 more, I would have stayed on Xbox 360 because back then I used to be an Xbox 360 player. But I decided to switch over to the PS3, and I kind of fell in love with it. Now, I had my PS3 since 2007, but a couple years after that, I bought an Xbox 360, and I switched that for about 2 years. And after a while, I was like, this is not as good. I didn't like a lot of things about it, so I switched back over to the PS3 around Modern Warfare 3 time, a little bit into Modern Warfare 3, and you know, and that's when I really started to enjoy it more and more and play the game more and more. So, really, I'm not super biased. I'm not a PS3 fanboy. The only company I'm a fanboy of is Apple. I am an Apple fanboy, but you know, when it comes to like Sony or Microsoft, you know, I could care less. So, yeah, and I know there are going to be some console wars or something of that type in the comments. Maybe. Hopefully not. I'm really hoping not. Because, you know, the clan isn't gigantic yet, so there isn't a gigantic audience. So hopefully people won't get really mad. But, you know, leave your thoughts in the comments on whether or not you prefer Xbox One or PS4. Me, personally, I do prefer PS4 due to the community being larger. I don't notice a gigantic difference in the gaming. They do say that there is slightly better graphics on the PS4 for Ghosts and all games in general. But you know, it's so not noticeable. It's nothing you'll notice in game, you know. I mean, maybe every once in a while you'll notice like an extra like little thing floating in the air on the PS4, but you know, honestly, not a gigantic difference, not a big difference. So that's all I really have to say today, guys. Hope you enjoy the gameplay. It is by Toxic Gunner and he is a beast. So until next time, guys. Bye bye.